It starts in silence. Not the absence of sound, but the absence of noise. The noise of doubt, the noise of distraction, the noise of other people's voices telling you who you should be, what you should want, and why your longings are foolish. The universe cannot speak over that static. It waits, not with impatience but with certainty, because it knows you will come. You always do. You come not when you're ready, but when you're exhausted, when the games no longer work, when the roles collapse, when the world outside fails to offer what your soul has been screaming for. That scream is sacred. It's not desperation. It's a summoning. You are not asking the universe to answer you. You are asking it to remember you. And it will. But not through words, through mirrors, through symbols, through the way a breeze suddenly chills your skin just as you doubt your path, through the song that plays exactly when you're questioning your worth, through the stranger who repeats a phrase you whispered only to yourself the night before. This is how it speaks, not with thunder, but with echoes. The first way to talk to the universe is to stop talking. You must listen, not with your ears, but with your presence. Drop into your body, not the tense, armored shell you've been wearing to survive, but the body beneath that body, the subtle one, the one that flinches before your mind registers danger, the one that softens when you're in truth. The universe speaks to that part of you. It always has. So sit, not to meditate, not to perform. Sit to commune. Let the floor hold your weight. Let the stillness disarm your mind. Breathe until your chest no longer expands for survival, but for surrender. Then ask, but not with desperation. Ask with reverence. Ask as if you're speaking to a beloved who has always been listening. Because you are. Speak your longing aloud. Not to beg, but to activate. To initiate a conversation you were always meant to have. Say, show me what I need to see. Say, reveal what I have been unwilling to face. Say, I'm ready to remember. These are not affirmations. They are invocations, keys that open hidden doors. The moment you speak with sincerity, the universe leans in. But here's the secret. The universe doesn't speak English. It speaks energy. It reads your vibration, not your vocabulary. You cannot lie to it. You cannot trick it. It will mirror you exactly. If your voice says yes, but your energy says maybe, it will respond with confusion. If your words plead for clarity, but your actions resist change, it will send riddles. Not as punishment, but as calibration. This is the second way to talk to the universe. Align your signal. Speak with your whole being. Let your actions become your prayer. Let your attention become your offering. Where you look, what you touch, what you feed, these are all messages. The universe is not separate from you. It is you. You are speaking to yourself across dimensions, across timelines, across layers of awareness. You are both the sender and the receiver, the question and the answer. So begin here, not by shouting into the sky, but by whispering into your own bones. You are not waiting for a reply. You are tuning to a frequency that has always been transmitting. You are remembering how to listen. And just as you settle into that stillness, just as you begin to hear the hum beneath the silence, the next way arrives. But not as a step, as a feeling, as a shift, as something familiar you had forgotten. A language you once spoke before you needed proof. Don't chase it. Breathe it in. Because the conversation has already begun. The third way to talk to the universe is to feel before you understand. In the language of spirit, knowing comes second. Sensing comes first. We are trained to demand meaning before we allow movement. But the universe moves through sensation. It whispers in the gut, not in the grammar. And when you ignore the shiver that runs through your spine, when you silence the pulse that tightens in your belly, you reject the first syllables of divine speech. You want answers. But answers aren't always words. They are directions. They are pulls. That magnetic nudge that leads you away from the safe choice and toward the unknown. That inner shift that has no logical backing, yet feels truer than all your evidence. That is the universe speaking. In code, in current, in vibration. So if you want to hear it, let yourself feel without naming. Let yourself tremble without explaining. Let your tears rise before you understand why. The mind will catch up if it needs to. But the signal comes through the body first, through dreams, through sensation, through the ache that wakes you up at night with no clear reason. The fourth way is to pay attention to what repeats. Patterns are the punctuation marks of universal language. When you see the same number again and again, it is not a coincidence. When you keep running into the same theme in every book, conversation, or dream, it is not random. It is deliberate. It is a knock on your soul's door. Too many people wait for the clouds to part and a voice to thunder down with instructions. But the divine is subtle. It doesn't shout. It surrounds. It infiltrates. It weaves itself into your world so intimately that you forget it's divine at all. That's the point. If it came too loudly, you'd hand over your power. But the quiet forces you to co-create, to choose to notice, to choose to engage. This is how the fifth way begins, by tracking your reality like a sacred text. Keep a synchronicity journal. Write down the odd alignments, the dreams that shimmer, the symbols that follow you. Because what you track, you train yourself to see. And the more you see, the more the universe speaks. Because attention is permission. It says, I'm ready. Speak louder, show more, and it will. You will see that the universe is not mute. It's multilingual. It speaks in chills and stumbles, in repeated lyrics and quiet eyes. It speaks through timing, through the thing that didn't happen, through the accident that interrupted your plan. The question is never whether it's speaking. The question is, will you still listen when it speaks in a language you didn't expect? Most won't. They want subtitles for the sacred. They want guarantees. But real dialogue with the divine requires intimacy, trust, a willingness to follow without a map, a willingness to be wrong on the way to what's right. So feel first, interpret later, trust the tremble, honor the repetition, track the strange, because these are not distractions, they are dispatches. You are not alone, you never were. The universe is speaking. The only question is, are you listening with your whole being, or just your ears? The sixth way to talk to the universe is through devotion without agenda. Not bargaining, not begging, not asking with conditions, but loving presence, steady reverence, the kind that says, even if I don't get the answer I want, I will keep showing up. Because the universe does not respond to pressure. It responds to presence, to sincerity, to the quiet power of return. We live in a world obsessed with immediacy, with getting what we want now. But the sacred does not rush. It ripens, it tests your attention, it watches whether you show up only when you want something, or whether you return even when the room feels empty. This is not to punish, it is to purify. Because the universe is not an ATM, it is a mirror. And when your offering is tainted by expectation, the reflection comes back clouded. So the sixth way is simple, but not easy. Keep showing up. Build your own altar, even if it's just a corner of your day where you pause, breathe, speak, and listen. Not to manifest, not to demand, but to be in communion. Whisper thank you before the blessings arrive. Honor the sacred before it's visible, because what you water in secret becomes the forest that feeds you. And then comes the seventh way. Speak with your hands, with your feet, with your choices. The universe listens to what you do far more than what you say. If you say you want love but keep choosing fear, the message is mixed. If you say you want change but never leave the loop, the signal is static. Your actions are prayers, your habits are rituals, your boundaries are incantations. The question is not just what you're asking for, it's what you're embodying. The eighth way is to surrender to redirection. Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes it's not yet. Sometimes it's silence. But even silence is a response. Even detours are divine. The soul sees from a different altitude than the ego. And what looks like delay from below is often protection from above. When you hit resistance, ask, what is this teaching me? Where is this pointing me? What am I still clinging to that wants to be released? This isn't passive resignation. This is conscious attunement. You are not giving up. You are tuning in. And then you start to see it, that the universe has always been responsive. But it was never just answering your words. It was responding to your frequency, to your readiness, to the invisible alignment of your soul behind your sentence. So you breathe deeper, you move slower, you speak clearer, not to force a result, but to become the resonance you seek. This is how the conversation becomes constant, not loud, but unmistakable, not flashy, but faithful, a dance, not a transaction. Because the universe is not something you command, it is something you remember how to dance with. And the rhythm is always playing. The only question is, will you match it, or will you keep trying to clap louder than the music? The ninth way to talk to the universe is through sacred contradiction. You ask for expansion, and suddenly everything contracts. You pray for peace, and chaos erupts. You beg for clarity, and you get silence. This is not punishment. This is precision. The universe is not ignoring you. It is preparing you, tuning you, stretching the parts of you that can hold the answer you've called in. Because sometimes what you're asking for is bigger than who you're being. So when things fall apart after you ask for guidance, that is the guidance. The detour is not a delay. It is the direct route to who you're becoming. The breakdown is not a failure. It is a frequency cleanse, a vibrational reset. And only those brave enough to stay open in the unraveling will hear the message beneath the noise. Let go. Let go so I can show you. The 10th way is to bless the unknown, not tolerate it, not survive it. Bless it. Thank the void. Because the void is not empty. It is fertile. It is where the answers incubate before they arrive. It is where your ego loses its grip and your soul regrows its wings. If you want to hear the universe clearly, you must stop trying to skip the in-between. So many seek shortcuts, but the 11th way is the long road, the road of refinement, the slow burn, the sacred wait. Because time is not your enemy, it is your altar. Every moment you spend in the unknown with an open heart is a love letter to the divine. And that letter is always read. The 12th way is to stop trying to be good. Be true instead. The universe does not respond to performance. It responds to presence. If you're afraid to ask because you're afraid to be judged, know this. The divine already knows your shadows. And it loves you anyway, especially there. Speak from your rawness. Speak from your ache. Speak from the part of you that doesn't know how to say it right but needs to say it anyway. Because that honesty opens portals. That vulnerability invites echoes. And that kind of conversation heals you even before the answer arrives. This is not about scripting the perfect request. This is about being brave enough to show up as you are and trust that it's enough. And then, as you soften into all of that, the waiting, the silence, the ache, something shifts. Not out there, inside. A warmth, a nudge, a pulse that says, keep going. You realize you're no longer talking to the universe, you're talking with it. The feedback is instant. The reflection is everywhere. In the way the candle flickers, in the way your stomach knots at a yes disguised as a no, in the way your chest lifts when you walk the right way home. You are not decoding a foreign language. You are remembering your native one. And every moment of presence, every sacred contradiction, every surrender to the unknown is a phrase in that language. And that language is love, so sit with it. Let it break you open, because in the shattering, the signal gets clearer, and in the quiet, your soul starts to speak back. The 13th way to talk to the universe is to ask better questions. Most people ask from fear. Will I be okay? Will I fail? Will they leave? These questions don't open doors. They lock you in rooms of uncertainty. The universe doesn't respond to panic. It responds to precision, to the frequency of curiosity laced with courage. Ask questions that expand you, not shrink you. Ask, what am I being shown? What part of me is ready to grow? What would love do right now? These questions don't beg, they invoke. They tell the universe, I'm not here to be rescued, I'm here to participate, to perceive. And the moment you ask from that place, a place of empowered inquiry, the answers come faster. Sometimes not in form, but in feeling. A sudden knowing, a shift in breath, a memory resurfacing without warning. That's how the answer walks in, softly, confidently, as if it's always lived inside you. The 14th way is to watch your resistance. What you resist the most often contains the conversation you've been avoiding, that one topic you won't journal about, that one truth you keep silencing. The universe is not passive in these moments. It keeps circling the lesson, dressing it in different clothing, hoping this time you won't look away. So instead of asking why it keeps happening, ask why you keep hiding. Resistance is not failure. It is feedback. And every time you lean into it instead of away from it, a new language is unlocked. A deeper layer of the dialogue opens. The 15th way is to use beauty as a bridge. The universe speaks through beauty because beauty bypasses the mind. It stirs the soul, the colors in a sunrise, the ache in a violin's note, the way shadows dance through the trees. These are not just aesthetics. They are activations, invitations, codes. When you stand in awe, the chatter stops. When the chatter stops, the signal comes through. So let art be your ritual. Let music be your teacher. Let nature be your scripture. If you don't know what to say, sit with beauty and listen. It is already speaking. The 16th way is to honor timing as intelligence. Not everything is late. Not everything is lost. Some things arrive only when the part of you that would sabotage them is no longer steering. The universe is always on time, but we are often impatient. We want it now because we don't yet know what we would do with it later. So the divine pauses, not to punish, to protect, to prepare. The answer is not gone. It is gathering, maturing, becoming clear enough to meet you without distortion. And when it does, it won't knock. It will enter like breath, so natural you almost miss it, unless you're paying attention. And that's the 17th way. Presence, because presence is the only place the universe meets you. Not in your regrets, not in your projections, right here, right now, in the space between this breath and the next. In the moment you stop trying to predict the script and start living the line you're on. Be there, not to manipulate the outcome, but to meet the moment. Because the moment is always sacred, and when you meet it with reverence, it speaks back with resonance. And you begin to realize, you were never just trying to hear the universe, you were trying to hear yourself, undistorted for the first time. The 18th way to talk to the universe is to tell the truth. Not the polished version, not the one you rehearsed to sound evolved, the raw truth, the trembling truth, the part of you that wants to scream and wail and throw it all into the fire, that truth. Because the universe doesn't need you to be graceful, it needs you to be real. Honest energy is a clear signal, and clear signals call back clear responses. You can't pretend your way into alignment. You can't lie your way into magic. The universe feels your frequency, not your filters. So when you sit with it, whether in nature, in silence, or in sacred space, bring the truth. Say, I'm scared. Say, I don't know what to do. Say, I'm angry with you. The divine can handle it. In fact, it welcomes it. because only through honesty can trust be rebuilt. The 19th way is to stop outsourcing your authority. Yes, signs are sacred. Yes, guidance can come through others. But if you are constantly checking cards, horoscopes, or strangers on the internet to make your decisions, you're not listening to the universe, you're avoiding it. Because the deepest guidance comes from within, from the place that no one else can access but you. The universe doesn't want to keep proving itself to you. It wants you to remember that it lives in you. So the next time you feel the pull to ask outside, pause. Ask inside. What do I already know? What am I pretending not to know? The answers are there, not always loud, but always loyal. The 20th way is to honor your anger, not as an enemy of peace, but as a messenger of boundaries. When something feels wrong, off, or suffocating, that anger is the universe saying, no more shrinking, no more pretending, no more betrayal of the self. Your rage is sacred when it is channeled, not weaponized. When it becomes the fire that burns away illusion, not the sword that cuts indiscriminately. Speak it, dance it, write it, let it move through. Because repressed emotion creates distortion, and distortion muddies the channel. If you want clear signals, clear the static. And then comes the 21st way. Be still after the storm, when the tears dry, when the anger softens, when the shouting has stopped. Be still, because in that stillness, the message lands. Not always with words, sometimes with a sensation, a knowing, a calm that makes no sense but feels like home. This is not passive waiting. This is active listening, like the earth after the rain, ready to receive, ready to nourish, ready to begin again. The universe loves that kind of readiness, that kind of quiet power. It speaks volumes in the hush that follows the howl. So show up raw, show up honest, show up as the storm if that's what you are. The universe can hold it. It is not fragile. It is not fickle. It is not offended by your mess. It is moved by your authenticity. And when it sees you, really sees you, beneath the masks and roles and trying, it nods, and it responds, because you've stopped pretending, and it can finally speak to the one who's been hidden beneath the performance all along. The 22nd way to talk to the universe is to laugh. Not performative laughter, not the kind that covers pain, the sacred kind, the uncontainable one, the laugh that escapes from your soul when something inside you finally lets go. The universe responds to joy just as powerfully as it does to pain. Joy is a portal, a permission slip. It says, I am not waiting to be whole before I feel alive. I am alive now. You don't have to be serious to be spiritual. The divine is not rigid. It is playful, curious, expansive, and when you meet it with delight instead of dread, it dances with you. So laugh, let it rise, let it ripple through your chest. That sound is a tuning fork. That vibration is alignment. That is the sound of a soul in flow. The 23rd way is to ask without attachment. Speak your desire, name your hope, but hold it like a bird, not a cage. The more tightly you grip, the more it flees. Attachment narrows the channel. It tells the universe, this or nothing. But the universe speaks in multiplicity. It often answers in forms you never could have imagined. So ask, then surrender, not in defeat, but in trust. Trust that the no might be a deeper yes. Trust that delay is not denial. Trust that the infinite intelligence that weaves galaxies can also rearrange your timeline in ways your mind can't yet comprehend. The 24th way is to return to your body. Over and over. When you're confused, come back to sensation. When you're overwhelmed, come back to breath. When you're lost, come back to the soles of your feet. The body is the compass. The body is the translator. You are not just a consciousness floating in the ether. You are spirit in form. And the universe often speaks to you through your own skin. So don't abandon your body in search of wisdom. drop deeper into it. What does your chest say? What does your spine know? What happens in your gut when you say yes? What flinches when you say no? That is dialogue. That is data. That is divine. The 25th way is reverent rebellion. Break the rules that were never true. Speak the truths that made others uncomfortable. Dance in the places you were told to sit still. The universe honors authenticity more than obedience, and sometimes the answer only comes when you stop following the script and start writing your own. There is a language the soul speaks that cannot be taught. It must be remembered, and you remember it by daring to be what you already are. Unapologetically, uncontainably, unmistakably you. The universe responds to that frequency with echoes, with openings, with sacred mirrors that say, yes, this, more. So dance, laugh, ask, let go. Come home to your breath. Break free from your programming. The conversation is not linear. It is cyclical, spiral, a rhythm that carries you closer to the center each time you return, and when you meet that center, even for a breath, you will know. You won't need a sign. You won't need proof. The knowing itself will be enough. And from that place, you will no longer wonder if the universe is listening. You will realize it has been singing to you all along, through the joy, through the stillness, through every yes and every undoing. The song continues. And now you remember the words. The 26th way to talk to the universe is to walk away, not in bitterness, not in fear, in clarity. Walk away from what no longer matches your vibration. Walk away from cycles you've outgrown, contracts you've fulfilled, identities you've exhausted. The universe can't send new frequencies to an inbox still full of expired agreements. This isn't abandonment, it's alignment. It says to the universe, I am ready to be met at my current resonance. Because when you keep choosing what's familiar over what's true, the signal gets scrambled, and the answers become echoes instead of arrivals. The 27th way is to honor your dreams, not just the visions of your waking mind, but the ones that visit you at night, the ones that feel too strange to be coincidence, too vivid to be fiction. Dreams are portals, messages from the subconscious, oracles wrapped in imagery. You don't have to understand them fully to respect them. Record them. Sit with them. Let their symbols speak in their own time. Because dreams are where the veils thin, where the ego softens, where the soul rehearses realities it's not yet ready to live. And the more you listen, the more the dreams reveal. Not just what might come, but who you are becoming. The 28th way is to remember your ancestors. You are not the beginning of your story. You are the continuation. And the universe often speaks through lineage, through old patterns needing to be broken, through old prayers waiting to be fulfilled. You carry the echoes of those who came before you, their wisdom, their wounds, their whispered hopes that someone, you, would finally listen. So light a candle, say their names, ask for guidance not just from the stars, but from the bones, from the blood memory, from the rivers that run through your veins. There is language there too, not in syllables, but in sensation, in inheritance, in sacred responsibility. The 29th way is silence, not stillness. Silence, the kind that strips performance, that empties the stage, that leaves you with nothing but your own breath and the hum beneath all things. This silence is not void. It is sacred density, the place where your thoughts dissolve and your truth begins. Go there, often, not to escape, but to remember, to recalibrate, to commune, because in the silence you hear it. Not a voice, not a sentence, a knowing, a communion beyond language, a moment so still it sings. And finally, the 30th way is this: become the universe. Not metaphorically, literally. You are not just talking to it, you are it. a fragment of infinity experiencing itself in form, a sliver of stardust with memory, a wave remembering it is also the ocean. When you speak to the divine, you are speaking to the deepest, most unfiltered version of yourself. So speak kindly, speak honestly, speak often, because every time you do, you recalibrate the field. You shift the code, you shape your timeline, not through force, but through frequency. Not through demand, but through devotion. And as you walk this path, as you spiral through these ways, remember, it was never about getting an answer. It was about remembering you were always in conversation, always held, always heard, always home. The 31st way to talk to the universe is through embodiment, not by thinking about love, but becoming it, not by intellectualizing healing, but moving like someone who is whole. The mind will always seek logic, but the body speaks a different truth. And when you walk like the future is already here, the universe rushes to meet you there. You cannot just affirm change, you must become it. Speak with your spine, walk with your breath, carry yourself as if the answer has already arrived. Because in the unseen, it has. And your embodiment becomes the bridge between realms. The more fully you live your intention, the more clearly the universe can reflect it. The 32nd way is devotion to the now. Not the idea of presence, but radical intimacy with what is. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts, especially then. The universe doesn't just speak through beauty and synchronicity, it speaks through mess, tension, contrast. Presence is not just a spiritual buzzword, it is the frequency of receptivity. So if you want to hear, stop escaping, drop into the ordinary, the dishes, the body, the breath, the silence, the sound. Every moment is encoded, every instant is a broadcast, and the more fully you inhabit it, the louder the whisper becomes. The 33rd way is remembrance, the deepest one. The kind that has no words, the kind that rises in your chest in stillness, the kind that takes your breath away mid-step, mid-thought, mid-sentence. You remember, not a technique, not a tool, but a truth, that you were never separate, that the universe never needed to speak because it never stopped. It was always speaking, through your longing, through your questions, through your heartbeat. You just needed to be still enough, honest enough, stripped enough to hear it. This is not the end. There is no end. Conversation with the divine is not a checklist. It is a relationship, a rhythm, a spiral that brings you deeper with every return. What you just walked through were not methods. They were mirrors, reminders of the infinite ways the sacred meets you, and how in every instance you are the doorway. So speak, whisper, weep, laugh, dance, breathe, remember. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. Because the universe is not waiting for your perfection, it is responding to your authenticity. Let this chapter be a threshold, not a conclusion. Let it mark the place where you stop trying to get an answer and start living as one. Because you are. You are the answer becoming form. You are the prayer embodied. You are the echo, the voice, the silence, and the song. You are the universe, listening to itself speak. The next way to talk to the universe is to unlearn. Strip away the layers that were never yours, the borrowed beliefs, the inherited guilt, the systems that taught you the divine was outside of you, too far, too holy to touch. You do not need permission to access the sacred. You only need the courage to lay down everything that told you you couldn't. Unlearning is not forgetting. It is remembering what came before the forgetting. It is remembering that you were born fluent in divine language, that before the world named you, you knew who you were. The universe speaks most clearly to the unmasked, the untamed, the unbecoming. Because in the unraveling, truth is loudest. The next way is paradox. Hold the knowing and the not knowing at once. You are infinite and limited, divine and human. wise and learning. And the universe speaks best to those who can sit in both. Don't wait to be fully healed to listen. Listen while you're breaking. Don't wait to be certain to trust. Trust while you tremble. The universe does not need your certainty. It needs your participation, your willingness to walk while wondering, to act while unsure, to open your hands even when you don't yet see what they're meant to hold. This is not blind faith. This is embodied courage. And then comes the next language. Service, not martyrdom, not self-erasure, but true offering. Live in such a way that your presence becomes a blessing. Let your words heal, let your silence soothe, let your choices ripple into the collective. Because the universe flows through channels, not containers. The more you give from overflow, the more you become a conduit. This is how you pray with your life, not just with chants and incense, but with integrity, with care, with the courage to live what you believe. That frequency is unmistakable, and it sends a signal across realms. Use me, align me, guide me. And the universe does. But you must also rest. That is the next way. Because rest is not retreat. It is recalibration. It is receptivity. You cannot receive answers when your nervous system is in survival. You cannot hear subtle frequencies when your body is bracing for battle. Rest is sacred. It says, I trust the unfolding. It says, I am not the source, I am the vessel. So sleep. Slow down. Let stillness teach you. Let the universe work while you dream. Let answers come without force, because the divine doesn't need you exhausted to reward you. It needs you attuned to receive. And in all this, the unlearning, the paradox, the service, the rest, you are reminded. It is not about doing more. It is about remembering deeper. The more you return to your natural state of truth, the clearer the conversation becomes. You were never disconnected, just distracted. And now, you are returning. The next way to talk to the universe is through awe, not just admiration. Awe, the reverent stillness that floods your chest when you behold something vast and holy. The kind of moment that arrests the mind and expands the soul. When you look at the ocean and remember how small you are, not in weakness, but in wonder. When you watch lightning fork through the sky and feel your pulse mirror the storm, awe is the opening. It loosens the grip of the ego. It humbles you into clarity. And in that space, vast, breathless, timeless, the universe has room to whisper. Not as an idea, but as an experience. Something felt, not forced, received, not reasoned. Seek out awe, not because it changes the universe, but because it changes your capacity to hear it. Awe recalibrates your antenna. It breaks you open just enough to let the light through, and that light carries the message. The next way is patience. Deep, cellular patience. The kind that doesn't flinch when things take longer than expected. The kind that doesn't interpret silence as rejection. Most people ask the universe a question and grow bitter when the answer takes time. But the sacred does not operate on your clock. It doesn't rush because you're uncomfortable. What you call delay, the universe calls preparation. There are codes rearranging, realities shifting, threads being woven in realms you cannot see. And the moment your readiness meets the alignment, the answer lands. Right on time, always. Until then, wait with devotion. Not idly, but actively. Prepare the space. Clean your frequency. Speak your gratitude in advance. That is how you wait with power. The next language is contrast. Every heartbreak, every frustration, every disappointment is data. Not because pain is a lesson, but because it sharpens desire. It shows you what you no longer choose. It clarifies what you truly need. The universe is not cruel when it lets something fall apart. It is speaking to you in the clearest terms possible. Not this. And when you listen, not just with your ears, but with your choices, You graduate. You stop romanticizing the lesson. You integrate it. You let contrast refine you, not define you. You let it serve your evolution. The next way is intention. Subtle, but potent. You don't need elaborate rituals or complicated affirmations. You need clarity. You need to mean what you say. You need to align your request with your readiness to receive it. Intention is not just about what you want. It's about what you're willing to become in order to hold it. So speak your intentions like vows, not just to the universe, but to yourself. Keep them. Return to them. Let them shape your behavior. Because the universe responds to consistency more than occasional cries for help. It mirrors rhythm, repetition, ritual. And when your intention becomes the rhythm of your life, the response becomes inevitable. These ways are not new. They are ancient, lived, forgotten, reawakened. You've always known how to talk to the universe, but now you're learning to listen without expectation, to show up without performance, to receive without resistance. And the universe? It's listening too, closer than your breath, wiser than your doubt, more generous than your fear would have you believe. So breathe, feel, watch, witness. You are fluent in this language. Let it speak you. The next way to talk to the universe is with reverence for the mundane. The sacred does not only live in ceremony, it lives in dishes being washed, in sidewalks being walked, in the small choices made without applause. When you approach ordinary moments with presence, they become portals. Every heartbeat becomes a bell. Every glance becomes a prayer. You don't need incense to invoke the divine. You need attention. You need sincerity. You need the willingness to meet the infinite inside the daily. That's where the universe hides its most tender messages. In plain sight, behind routines, inside the pauses no one else values. The more you honor those moments, the more the sacred reveals itself. The next way is vulnerability. Not as performance, but as presence. Let yourself be seen. By others, by the moment, by the mirror. Vulnerability is an opening, and openings are how energy moves. You cannot receive if you are armored. You cannot hear if you are constantly defending. The universe doesn't need you to be strong. It needs you to be real. So name the fear. Admit the longing. Let the tears fall where they will. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is alignment. It says to the divine, I am available. I am open. I am ready to be moved. And the divine responds, not always with ease, but always with precision. The next way is truth. Your truth. Not the one you were told to believe, but the one that shakes inside you when you're quiet enough to feel it. The universe does not require conformity. It requires congruence, and your soul speaks most clearly when it is not filtered through masks. So say what's true, even if your voice shakes, even if your truth changes tomorrow, because what matters is not the permanence of your truth, it's the permission you give yourself to live it fully. Right now. That alignment sends out a signal, and that signal draws in the people, places, and possibilities that match you. The next way is beauty, not as decoration but as devotion. Surround yourself with things that awaken you, that soften your edges, that remind you of what is timeless. A flower on your desk, a candle lit in a dark room, a song that cracks your chest wide open. These are not luxuries. They are language. Beauty heals the nervous system. It whispers to the parts of you that forgot joy was safe. It invites the soul to the surface. The universe speaks fluently through beauty. And when you make space for it, you're not just improving your environment, you're deepening your conversation. Finally, the next way is surrender. Not passive, not defeated, but holy, willing, wise. Surrender is the art of placing the how back into the hands of the infinite. You still move, you still show up, but you no longer cling to control as your only compass. You let mystery breathe, you let timing weave, This is not giving up. It's growing up. It's recognizing that your vision, no matter how noble, is still limited, and that the universe, vast, intricate, ancient, may just know a better path. When you surrender, you enter a new kind of silence, not absence, receptivity, and in that silence, the most profound guidance comes, not in volume, but in vibration, not in clarity, but in calibration. Your bones feel it before your mind can name it. And so you soften, you trust, you let go of the story and listen for the melody beneath it. You become not just a speaker, but an instrument, tuned, ready, in harmony with something far more vast than you were ever taught to believe. This is how the conversation deepens. This is how the universe begins to not only answer you, but sing through you. The next way to talk to the universe is to honor the in-between, the liminal, the space after the end and before the beginning, the pause between exhale and inhale, the dusk between day and night. These are not empty spaces, they are sacred thresholds. The universe often speaks loudest not in the action, but in the waiting, not in the arrival, but in the crossing. Most of us rush through these spaces. We call them nothing. We try to fill them with noise, with distraction, with the illusion of progress. But the in-between is the universe's workshop. It is where old identities are dissolved, where unseen truths rise, where new frequencies begin to pulse. So don't run from the stillness. Sit in it. Listen. Ask, what is ending? What is emerging? Who am I becoming in this breathless middle ground? This is the place where the next message forms, not in logic but in energy, not in answers but in alignment. The next way is devotion to slowness, not as laziness, as precision, as depth. We live in a culture obsessed with speed, but the universe is not in a hurry. It is vast, cyclical, cosmic. To match its rhythm, you must slow down. To hear its whispers, you must learn to linger. Slowness is where integration happens, where insights land, where the sacred is revealed not in flashes, but in layers. When you rush, you skim the surface, but when you slow down, you dive. And in those depths, the universe meets you, fully, intimately, generously. The next way is embodiment of your prayer. Don't just ask for peace, move like you're already free. Don't just hope for abundance, walk like your needs are already met. Every step is a sentence, every movement is a message. The way you carry yourself either amplifies your prayer or contradicts it. So check your posture, your tone, your breath. Do they match your intention? Do they tell the universe you believe, or that you're still bargaining? Embodiment is alignment. It's the frequency of certainty. It's the message that needs no words. The next way is play, lightness, imagination. The divine is not only deep, it is delighted. The universe plays in colors, in rhythm, in cosmic jokes. When you laugh, when you create without purpose, when you dance without direction, you open a portal. You tell the universe, I am not here just to survive. I am here to delight in you. That delight is not childish. It is ancient. It is the wisdom of the soul remembering that joy is sacred, that levity is healing, that the game is not against you, it's with you. And when you play, the universe responds with synchronicity, with ease, with gifts that arrive when you least expect them. So breathe deep, be still, then move slow, then laugh loud, then ask boldly, then receive softly. The language is vast, the conversation infinite. You are not just learning to speak, you are remembering how to sing. The next way to talk to the universe is through contrast, not just external, but internal. The parts of you that contradict each other. The you that wants to leap, and the you that wants to stay safe. The one who prays for transformation, but clings to the familiar. The universe listens when you make space for both. When you stop trying to choose one identity and instead embrace your wholeness. You are not broken for being contradictory. You are a symphony of selves, and the more honestly you hold all of you, the clearer the signal becomes. The universe doesn't require perfection, it requires coherence. Harmony doesn't mean sameness, it means alignment with your truth, even when it's messy. The next way is to bless your confusion. Not solve it, not rush it. Bless it. Confusion is not the enemy of clarity, it is the path to it. When you're confused, you are between stories. One is falling apart, the other hasn't yet formed. That space is sacred. It's the cocoon. It's where old ways die and new eyes begin to form. So stop trying to escape the fog. Let it teach you to feel instead of fix. Let it slow you down enough to finally hear. Because when the mind quiets in defeat, the soul begins to speak, and what it says will rearrange you. The next way is sacred repetition. Keep asking, keep showing up, keep practicing the presence, even when you hear nothing. The universe doesn't ignore persistence, it responds to it. Not because it needs convincing, but because repetition clears the static. Every ritual is repetition, every prayer is rhythm, every affirmation, every aligned action is a drumbeat. And with enough rhythm, even stone begins to shift. So don't stop because it's not immediate. Keep the rhythm. Let it build. Let it summon. The next way is paradoxical gratitude. Thank the things that stretch you. Bless the discomfort. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you recognize what it's revealing. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means finding the sacred in what's unfolding. Thank the job that cracked your illusions, the breakup that unearthed your worth, the silence that sharpened your faith. The universe hears that kind of gratitude differently. It hears not just your thanks, but your growth, your evolution, your readiness. And then comes the next way. Quiet celebration. Not grand gestures, not external validation, just the subtle, sacred act of acknowledging your own shift, of smiling at your own resilience, of noticing the soft way you handled what once broke you. That celebration is a signal. It says, I saw what I did. I see who I'm becoming. And the universe replies with more expansion, more reflection, more alignment. This is how you stay in the dialogue, not just through breakthroughs, but through breath, through pattern, through paradox, through grace. You are not just receiving from the universe, you are becoming its echo, its partner, its embodied response. The next way to talk to the universe is through sacred noticing, the kind of awareness that sees beyond the surface. Not just the event, but the energy beneath it. Not just the conversation, but the pattern it repeats. The universe speaks in loops until you listen, until you learn, until you liberate yourself from the loop by choosing differently. Noticing is power. It turns chaos into curriculum. It turns repetition into revelation. The thing that keeps happening isn't random. It's a message with a rhythm. Pay attention not to what it looks like, but to what it feels like. That feeling is a frequency, and frequencies don't lie. The next way is choosing again, and again, and again. You are never locked into your past choices. Every moment is a doorway. Every breath is a reset. You can pivot, redecide, realign at any point. And the moment you do, the universe responds immediately. Not because you earned it, but because you chose it. This is not bypassing. It's reclaiming. It's remembering that choice is a sacred technology. That you don't need permission to change. That your next step doesn't need consensus. It needs congruence. And when your choice matches your truth, the path ahead begins to clear. The next way is compassionate witnessing. The way you look at yourself when you fall. The way you hold your inner child when she's afraid. The universe notices how you treat you, because that treatment sets the tone for what you allow, what you expect, what you call in. Self-abandonment scrambles the signal, but self-compassion sharpens it. Speak to yourself the way you want the divine to speak to you. Be the answer you seek. The tone you use with yourself becomes the frequency the universe reflects. The next way is ritualized silence. Not just quiet, but sacred emptiness. Light a candle. Breathe deep. Do nothing. Say nothing. Let the silence stretch until it swallows your mind and feeds your soul. This is not about escape. It's about return. About resting in the field from which all answers arise. The mind will resist. The ego will fidget. But beyond the noise is knowing. And when you sit there long enough, it finds you. Like breath, like warmth, like memory. That knowing was never lost, only layered. Finally, the next way is radical permission. To feel what you feel. To want what you want. To evolve how you evolve. The universe does not shame desire. It follows it. It uses your longings as compass points, as coordinates for communication. So stop apologizing for your expansion. Stop shrinking your voice to make others comfortable. Stop asking for approval to become who you already are. The universe cannot fill a vessel pretending to be empty. It needs your full yes. Even if it's messy, even if it's wild, even if it's still becoming. Because that yes, that is the clearest signal of all. And the moment you give it, the universe echoes back. Welcome home. Let's begin. Again. Anew. Always. The next way to talk to the universe is to stop asking for signs you don't intend to follow. Too often we beg for clarity while clutching our comfort. We want permission, not direction. But the universe doesn't play games. It mirrors your sincerity. It won't waste language on ears that only want validation. So ask with intention. Ask with readiness. Ask knowing the answer might disrupt everything you've built to feel safe. Because sometimes the answer won't come as a green light. It will come as a wrecking ball. And that's still guidance. The shift you asked for doesn't always feel like healing at first. Sometimes it feels like breaking. But even the breaking is sacred when it's part of becoming. The next way is reverence for your no. Your no is not resistance. It is resonance. It is protection. It is alignment. Too many override their intuition in the name of openness. But saying yes when your soul whispers no is a betrayal. One the universe registers in your field. Your boundaries speak volumes. They define the space through which truth can flow. So let your no be clear. Let it be holy. Let it be a door that closes so the right one can open. The universe never punishes clarity. It multiplies it. The next way is reciprocity. You've asked, you've received, now give back. Not because the universe demands payment, but because you are in relationship. Say thank you. Share what helped you. Leave things better than you found them. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's an action. Give when you're full. Offer your overflow. Pour where it's received. That generosity keeps the current flowing. It says, I am not just a taker, I am a transmitter. I am a steward of what moves through me. And that signal returns tenfold. Another way is to become the answer you wish someone else would bring. Be the love you seek. Be the guidance you crave. The moment you become the frequency of what you once begged for, the universe shifts. Not because it finally heard you, but because you finally heard your. So instead of asking for a teacher, embody the teaching. Instead of waiting for the miracle, become the miracle in motion. Let your life be the message, the living proof that energy doesn't lie and truth transforms. And finally, the next way is to release the outcome. Completely. Burn the script. Let the divine write a new one. The universe will rarely move on your timeline, but it will always move on your behalf. Trust that. Let go of the form. Hold the frequency. Let go of the plan. Hold the posture. Let go of needing to know. Hold the willingness to follow. This is not about surrendering your power. It's about surrendering your grip. Because sometimes the answer isn't what you expected. It's better, but only if you're open. Only if your palms are empty enough to catch what wants to arrive. That emptiness is not lack, it's readiness. And that readiness is a language the universe has always understood. The next way to talk to the universe is through presence in discomfort, not bypassing it, not numbing it, but being there, fully. Because pain is not punishment, it is communication. It asks you to stop and feel, to listen without fixing, to meet the wound with reverence instead of resistance. The more you resist your pain, the louder it has to speak. But when you sit with it, something shifts. The pain softens, the message beneath it emerges, and the moment you feel it fully, you free it. That release sends a ripple through the field. I am ready to receive without hiding. The next way is inner congruence, when your words, your thoughts, and your actions line up. The universe doesn't just hear what you say, it hears what you mean. It reads your energy, not your performance. And when all parts of you are moving in the same direction, you become magnetic. If you say you're ready but behave like you're not, the signal is scrambled. If you ask for love but sabotage trust, the channel is blocked. But when your thoughts affirm, your body aligns and your actions reflect, it's unmistakable. That's the frequency the universe can echo without distortion. The next way is through creative expression. Paint, sing, build, dance. Create not to impress, but to express. The soul speaks through creation. It moves through your hands, your voice, your vision. And the universe listens as you channel the unseen into form. You don't need to be an artist. You need to be honest. Let what lives inside you take shape. That is how the sacred moves. It seeks form. And every time you create from your core, you remind the universe that you're listening, that you're willing to participate. Another way is sacred grief. Let yourself mourn. Not just losses, but identities. Versions of you that no longer fit. Dreams that no longer resonate. People who no longer walk beside you. Grief is not a detour, it is a doorway, a sacred thinning of the veil. In your grief, the heart cracks open. And in that crack, the voice of the divine becomes audible. Grief doesn't need to be rushed. It needs to be witnessed, held, honored. Because the universe is not only present in your joy, it is intimate with your sorrow. And when you let yourself fully feel it, something ancient exhales through you. And in that exhale, you receive. The next way is embodiment of enoughness. You don't earn your place in the cosmos, you already have it. Stop trying to prove your worth through overgiving, overworking, overthinking. The universe responds not to striving, but to knowing. And when you walk like you belong, life opens to meet you. So declare it, I am already enough, and then act like it, move like it, rest like it, ask like it. That vibration makes space for miracles, because it tells the universe, I am not begging, I am aligning. And in that alignment, everything shifts. Because enoughness is not a finish line, it's a frequency. And when you hold it, the universe echoes it back through every sacred thing that meets you on the path ahead. The next way to talk to the universe is through reverent attention. The kind that doesn't flinch, the kind that notices without judgment. Your attention is currency, and where you place it tells the universe what you value. So place it wisely. Place it on beauty, on truth, on the subtle movements of energy within you. When you observe with presence, you speak with precision. The universe responds to focused awareness, not anxious hypervigilance, but spacious noticing. Watch what expands when you stop reacting. Watch what heals when you stop fixing. Watch what reveals itself when you simply become the witness. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is see without needing to change. The next way is playfully asking for signs and then letting go. The childlike magic of it. The wink at the sky. The open-hearted, feather-light request. Show me something that reminds me I'm not alone. And then, walking away. Not waiting. Not obsessing. Just trusting. Just noticing. It's not about superstition. It's about intimacy. You are not demanding proof. You are opening the channel. And the universe loves to surprise the soft-hearted. It will speak through number patterns, overheard phrases, a stranger's eyes, the way a leaf falls, if you're open enough to see it. Another way is sacred movement. Let your body speak. Let it stretch, shake, sway, spiral. Movement is not separate from mysticism. It is how energy clears, how emotion leaves, how intuition re-enters. When you dance without choreography, the divine moves with you. When you walk with intention, the path rearranges. Your body holds messages, memories, prayers that never made it into words. So give them form, let them move, let them rise and release. This is not about performance, it's about permission. The permission to be wild, to be fluid, to be fully here. The next way is simplicity. The sacred isn't always grand. Sometimes it's the most mundane thing that delivers the deepest truth. A sip of water when you're parched. A kind word at the right moment. A breath that actually reaches your belly. Don't overlook the tiny miracles. That's where the divine hides. The ego seeks complexity. The soul knows the truth is simple. So strip it down. Let things be easy. Let answers come without needing a dissertation. The universe doesn't require you to struggle in order to grow. Sometimes it just needs you to stop complicating what was always clear. Finally, the next way is devotion to integrity. Say what you mean. Do what you say. Live in a way that feels clean when no one is watching. Not because you're afraid of judgment, but because you're in sacred contract with your integrity is the clearest frequency you can emit. When your life becomes the proof of your prayer, the universe has no confusion about how to respond. You become legible, accessible, a match. And in that match, life rushes to meet you, not with noise, but with knowing. So keep watching, keep moving, keep laughing, keep simplifying, keep choosing the honest thing. Every act, every breath, every intention, it's all part of the conversation. And the universe is listening closer than you know. The next way to talk to the universe is to listen when life whispers, before it has to shout. Subtle nudges, gut feelings, that tiny discomfort you brush off, these are not random. They're premonitions wrapped in intuition. The universe doesn't always come with lightning. Sometimes it comes as a pause, a hesitance, a faint no in your chest. Honor it. The more you heed the whisper, the less the universe has to scream. Listening early is self-respect. It's emotional intelligence. It's spiritual maturity. So pause, tune in. Ask yourself, what am I pretending not to know? The answer is already speaking. The question is, will you create enough stillness to hear it? The next way is emotional honesty, not performance, not projection. Raw, holy, heart-wrenching honesty. Let yourself be seen by your own soul. If you're angry, name it. If you're grieving, feel it. The universe cannot meet a mask. It meets you where you actually are, not where you pretend to be. Your feelings are messengers, not mistakes. They carry data, and when you let them speak without censorship, they reveal the conversation already happening beneath the surface. That ache? It's a prayer. That rage? It's a boundary. That despair? It's an invitation to deep. Another way is humility. Not shrinking. Not shame. True humility. The kind that says, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to learn. The kind that softens the ego just enough for wisdom to enter. Arrogance blocks the flow, but humility opens the channel. When you stop needing to be right, you start being real. And the universe doesn't care about your pride, it cares about your receptivity. Humility isn't weakness, it's magnetic. It says, I'm teachable, guide me. And guidance arrives. The next way is sacred solitude, choosing to be alone, not to isolate, but to integrate. In solitude, the noise fades, the patterns become clear. You remember who you are without the echo of everyone else's projections. This is not loneliness, it is communion with your essence, with the divine, with the silence that speaks. Don't fear your own company. Don't flee from your own reflection. In the stillness, the answers rise. In the aloneness, the next step appears. And in the quiet, you remember. You were never truly alone to begin with. Finally, the next way is celebration, not just when you arrive, but for every step, every shift, every tiny act of alignment. Celebrate when you choose honesty, when you listen to your intuition, when you rest instead of grind. Celebration is a sacred yes to your own growth. The universe mirrors enthusiasm. It responds to gratitude in motion. So mark your moments, smile at your progress, honor your path. Celebration is not ego, it's acknowledgement. And what you acknowledge, you amplify. So dance when no one claps, toast to the invisible winds, laugh at how far you've come. The universe hears that laughter as music. It moves with you, it moves for you, and with every breath of joy, you speak in the language of trust, the oldest dialect the cosmos has ever known. The next way to talk to the universe is through devotion to your own energy. Not just managing it, revering it. You are not here to leak your life force for everything and everyone. The universe listens when you protect your fire. When you stop giving from depletion and start creating from overflow. Boundaries are not walls, they are altars. When you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what sustains you. That yes echoes through the field. It tells the universe, I am ready to be filled with what feeds me. Energy is not just spent, it is directed. And where you direct it tells the divine what you are prepared to hold. The next way is radical truth-telling. Not to others, first to you. No spiritual bypassing, no sugarcoating, no pretending your pain is progress if it hasn't been processed. The universe responds to what is real. So be honest. Where are you lying to yourself? Where are you settling, hiding, or performing? That truth may sting, but it sets you free. And the moment you claim it, the universe can shift. Because truth is not just a principle, it's a portal. It opens what illusion locked. Another way is beauty-making. Craft your world like it matters, because it does. Arrange your space, adorn your altar, write poetry, cook slowly. Let your day be an offering. The divine doesn't need a temple. It needs your presence. When you live like your life is art, the universe takes notice. Beauty isn't decoration, it's devotion. A prayer in form, a frequency that elevates the mundane. And when you beautify your life, even subtly, you say to the universe, I am awake, I am participating, I am in conversation. The next way is to embody trust in your cells, not just as a mantra, but as a posture. Trust that what is meant for you will never miss you. Trust that timing is intelligence. Trust that your delays are preparation. Real trust doesn't always feel peaceful. It often feels like surrender while trembling. But when you trust while uncertain, you open a signal so clean, so humble, so honest. The universe rushes to meet it. Not always with what you want, but always with what will wake you up. Finally, the next way is to bless what you cannot yet understand. Speak love over the mystery. Whisper gratitude into the unknown. Faith is not about clarity. It's about communion. Sometimes the conversation is not linear. Sometimes it's a spiral, a rhythm, a waiting. In those moments, bless the silence. Bless the ache. Bless the holy fog that surrounds the next becoming. You are not lost. You are ripening. And the universe speaks even there, in the places where language has yet to form. So walk on, with tenderness, with fire, with trust that even your most quiet steps are heard, that your soul's whisper is fluent in heaven's tongue, and that every act of integrity, beauty, and truth is a sentence in the sacred story you and the universe are writing together. The next way to talk to the universe is through laughter. The soul-cleansing kind, the untamed, belly-deep, tear-jerking kind. Laughter is not trivial, It is transmission, a frequency that breaks up stagnation, that reminds you the game is not just survival. It is play. It is lightness. It is divine mischief. The universe speaks clearly when you are relaxed, when your grip loosens, when you let yourself find joy without justification. Let yourself be ridiculous. Laugh at the absurdity. That vibration is pure magic. It untangles you. It clears the channel. It invites blessings that don't need struggle to arrive. The next way is sacred repetition. Not robotic, but rhythmic. The kind that becomes devotion through practice. A daily prayer. A breath before you speak. A walk at sunset. A morning mantra that recalibrates your whole being. The universe honors rhythm. It listens through consistency. Don't underestimate what seemed simple. Repetition is how energy builds, how reality reshapes. Each small act compounds until the message is unmistakable. I am here. I am ready. I am listening. The next way is forgiveness, not as a favor to others, but as freedom for unforgiveness clogs the signal. It locks you in loops. It ties your energy to timelines that no longer exist. Forgiveness says, I choose now. I choose peace. I choose to unhook from what cannot follow me forward. You don't have to condone to release. You don't have to forget to free. But when you forgive, you reclaim the parts of you that stayed frozen. And those parts carry keys. Clarity, insight, messages you couldn't access while your heart was cleansed. Another way is to speak aloud what you want, clearly, shamelessly, without apology. Not begging, declaring, claiming your space in the fabric of existence. Let the air carry your prayer. Let your voice open the gate. Speak it in the shower, in your car, under the stars. Let the frequency of your desire vibrate into the field. The universe loves specificity, not control, but clarity. When you name what you're available for, you draw it in. The next way is through sacred witness, holding space for someone else's truth without fixing it. When you truly witness another, you become an extension of the divine. And the act of witnessing opens you too. It softens the walls. It widens the field. It makes you porous to the holy. You do not need to carry another's pain to honor it. You only need to be present, to say, I see you. I believe you. I'm not looking away. That frequency ripples. It heals more than words ever could. And finally, the next way is to celebrate your sensitivity. It is not a flaw. It is an instrument, a divine tool tuned to nuance, to feeling, to vibration. You cry easily? Good. You feel deeply? Good. You are not too much. You are tuned. Stop numbing the very thing that lets you hear the sacred. Stop apologizing for the tears, the trembling, the shivers. They are signals. They are confirmations. They are language. The universe doesn't just speak to the toughened. It whispers to the soft. And the softer you become, the more clearly you hear. You are already the answer. The receiver. The response. The next way to talk to the universe is to honor your longing. Not suppress it. Not shame it. But revere it. Longing is not lack. It is language. It is how the soul reminds you of what's possible. Desire is divine intel. And when you stop apologizing for what you want, you start tuning into what is meant for you. Your longing is not a mistake. It's a compass. Let it lead you. Let it show you where your truth lives. When you listen to it, not obsessively but curiously, you begin to decode the messages hidden in your ache. The universe speaks fluently in the language of your honest desire. The next way is sacred irreverence. Question what you were taught about worth, about power, about God. Let yourself rebel against what feels hollow. Sometimes the most spiritual act is to unlearn, to laugh at what once caged you, to burn the old scripts and write new ones with your own blood and breath. The divine is not fragile. It can withstand your questions. It welcomes your doubt. It thrives in your curiosity, because truth is not threatened by exploration. It expands through it. So talk to the universe with your whole self, even the parts that don't believe yet. That honesty is holy. Another way is to hold the paradox. You are light and shadow. You are healing and hurting. You want change and fear it too. Speak from the middle, not from the illusion of mastery. The universe doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be real. When you hold both sides without needing to collapse into either, you become vast, spacious, capable of receiving complex truths, and in that spaciousness, the next message lands. Not because you forced it, but because you made room. The next way is ritual, not out of obligation, out of intention. Light the candle, stir the tea, breathe before speaking. Ritual grounds your desire. It anchors your prayer in form. It's not about the props, it's about the presence. It tells the universe, I'm not just asking, I'm preparing. Let your life be ceremonial. Let your days begin and end with reverence. You don't need a temple. You are the temple. Your presence is the offering. Your care is the incense. And the universe receives it all. Finally, the next way is to live like it's already happening. Not delusion, alignment. Walk like the prayer's been answered. Speak like the shift has begun. Rest like the support has arrived. This isn't pretending. It's participating. It's matching the energy of what you want to meet. The future isn't separate. It's seeded in your present. Each thought, each choice, each breath is a bridge. So make your life a landing pad. Make your energy a welcome mat. Become the version of you that your vision requires. Because when you do, the universe doesn't hesitate. It moves with you, it speaks in clearer tones, and it delivers not just what you want, but what you've become ready to receive. The next way to talk to the universe is through awe. Not just admiration, but soul-stirring, breath-stealing awe. The kind that pauses time. That makes your heart race not with fear, but with recognition. When you see the sunrise and it splits something open, when you hear a song and it feels like coming home, awe softens the ego. And in its softness, the universe enters. Don't rush past what moves you. Sit in it. Let it rearrange your molecules. Let it speak what words can't touch. Awe is the universe's signature. And when you notice it, you're not just observing beauty, you're receiving direct communication from source. The next way is reclamation of your voice, your space, your truth. Reclamation is holy. It's not about becoming, it's about returning. The universe listens when you stop hiding, when you stop shrinking, when you say, "This is who I am, no edits, no apologies." Every time you reclaim a piece of yourself, the path brightens, the message clarifies, the synchronicities increase. You're telling the universe, I remember now, I trust now, I choose myself now. And that choice echoes across timelines. Another way is through sacred boundaries. Say yes only when your whole body agrees. Say no as a sentence, not an explanation. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to deeper clarity. When you protect your energy, the universe listens louder. Because you've created a space it can actually enter. Boundaries tell the divine, I am no longer available for distortion. I am preparing for alignment. And in that preparation, truth arrives. The next way is storytelling. Share what healed you. Speak what woke you up. Not to impress, but to illuminate. Your story is a frequency someone else is praying for. Don't dim it. Don't dilute it. Let it move through you raw, imperfect, alive. The universe speaks through the stories we dare to tell. And when your story meets another's ache, healing begins. This is not performance, it's permission. You don't need to be whole to speak. You only need to be willing. Finally, the next way is devotion to wonder. Cultivate it, feed it, choose it. Wonder is a state of receptivity, a sacred openness, a willingness to believe that magic still walks this earth. and that you are a part of it. When you wonder, you soften the grip of certainty. You make room for the miraculous. You walk through the world with eyes that ask, what else is possible? And the universe answers every time. So look up, listen closely, speak softly, trust deeply. You are not just sending signals, you are being spoken to, constantly, intimately, eternally. The next way to talk to the universe is through patience with becoming. Not passive waiting, but sacred unfolding. You are not late. You are not lost. You are ripening. And every moment of stillness, confusion, or delay is part of the gestation. The universe is never in a hurry, and when you match that pace, you align with its wisdom. Becoming is not a straight line. It's a spiral, a dance, a remembering. Trust that even your pauses are purposeful, that every detour holds a message, that the path is not just where you walk, it's who you become as you walk it. The next way is sacred detachment. Want fully, want vividly, and then release. Grip strangles grace, but trust opens the floodgates. When you ask, let go of the timeline. When you dream, let go of the form. Surrender doesn't mean apathy, it means you trust the orchestration more than the outline. What's meant for you will arrive through doors you didn't know to knock on. Let go of trying to script every scene. Let life improvise. That's how the magic sneaks in. Another way is inner celebration. Not the kind others see, but the quiet joy of noticing your own expansion. The smile after saying no without guilt. The breath you exhale when you stop performing. The moment you hear your intuition louder than your doubt. Celebrate that. Mark it. Let it register. Because every time you acknowledge your own evolution, you strengthen the signal. The universe sees that you're witnessing, and it responds with more for you to witness. The next way is through sacred curiosity. Don't demand the answer. Invite the revelation. Ask not with force, but with wonder. What wants to be known now? What is this moment trying to say? Curiosity opens the door that control keeps shut. Let your life be a living question. Let your faith be shaped by inquiry, not certainty. Because the universe doesn't need you to have it all figured out, it just needs you to stay open. Finally, the next way is kindness. Gentle, radical, consistent kindness. To others, to the moment. Kindness is not weakness, it's frequency, it changes rooms, it disarms fear, it builds bridges across unseen realms. When you move with kindness, the universe recognizes you as safe, as coherent, as trustworthy with its truth. Kindness is how you become a sanctuary for miracles. And when you are a sanctuary, the sacred arrives unannounced but right on time. So breathe, trust, let go. Laugh softly at the sky. You are not just trying to connect, you already are. The universe is not outside you. It's in your breath, your choices, your quiet yes. Keep listening, keep loving, keep becoming. The next way to talk to the universe is to let your silence speak. Not the silence of suppression, but the sacred stillness that hums beneath all things. When you stop filling the space, something else enters. A knowing, a pulse, a whisper you couldn't hear over all the noise. Silence is a sanctuary. It doesn't demand answers, it invites revelation. And in those quiet moments when the world fades and your mind finally settles, the truth emerges, not as a sentence, but as a sensation. You don't need to chase signs, just sit, just breathe, just listen. The message is already on its way. The next way is devotion to consistency. Small acts, done with love, done without needing applause. Show up to the meditation cushion. Show up to the blank page. Show up to the ritual, even when it feels empty. Your devotion is data. Your repetition tells the universe, I am serious about this communion. You don't need a breakthrough every day. You need rhythm, sacred rhythm. The kind that tells your nervous system, we are safe to listen now. And when you've shown up enough, The door swings open without warning. Not because you forced it, but because you waited faithfully. Another way is humility and expansion. You are growing, you are opening, you are remembering your own divinity. But don't let that expansion become ego. Stay grounded, stay curious, stay willing to be wrong. The universe keeps flowing when you keep learning. True expansion doesn't scream, "I've arrived." It whispers, "I'm still listening." Because the more you grow, the more you realize how little you control. And in that humility, more grace can enter, more clarity, more. The next way is to ask better questions. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Start asking, "What is this asking of me?" Shift from victim to vessel, from complaint to curiosity. Your questions shape your frequency, and your frequency shapes the response. The universe responds to empowered inquiry, questions that open instead of close, that invite responsibility instead of blame, that deepen the dialogue instead of dead-end it. So ask with courage, ask with honesty, ask like you're ready to hear the real answer. Finally, the next way is reverence for the ordinary. The way the sun touches your skin, the texture of water, the breath in your lungs. Don't wait for the mountaintop moment. Divinity is everywhere, in the dishes, in the traffic, in the silence between songs. The more you bow to the ordinary, the more extraordinary your life becomes. Because the universe doesn't just speak in fireworks, it speaks in breadcrumbs. And when you start to notice them, you realize you were never disconnected. You just forgot how to notice. So remember now, pause, listen, breathe, ask, laugh, cry. This is how you keep the dialogue alive. This is how you talk to the universe, not through performance, but through presence. Not through perfection, but through sincerity. Not with a megaphone, but with a heart wide open. The next way to talk to the universe is to follow the tug, that subtle pull in your chest, the unexplainable curiosity, the irrational yes that doesn't make sense on paper but won't leave you alone. That tug is not random, it's instruction. It's the whisper of the divine disguised as desire. You don't need to explain it, just trust it. Follow the thread. Take the next step. It's okay if the whole map isn't visible yet. It's not supposed to be. The universe reveals the path through movement, through trust, through saying yes before you know where it leads. The next way is through soulful listening, not just to others, but to the energy beneath their words, the pause in their sentence, the quiver in their voice, the things they aren't saying. Listen like a priestess, like a poet, like a soul who knows everything is sacred. When you listen deeply, you become a tuning fork. You begin to hear messages meant for you through the mouths of strangers, through the lyrics of songs, through the randomness of life. The universe uses everything to speak, but only the quiet-hearted can hear. Another way is conscious receiving. Stop downplaying your blessings. Stop deflecting compliments. Stop brushing off magic like it's coincidence. Receiving is an art. And when you receive well, you signal readiness for more. Say thank you like you mean it. Let good things land. Let love in. Let the small miracles matter. Because the universe is watching, not in judgment but in curiosity. Will she recognize the gift? Will he honor the answer? Your yes is the final part of the prayer. The next way is through beauty as a portal, not just what you see, but what you feel. The ache in a cello, the softness of dusk, the silence between thunder and rain. Let beauty pierce you. Let it break the shell. Let it say what words never could. When beauty moves you, don't rush past it. Pause, feel, cry if you must. That emotion is sacred recognition, a sign that something deep within you remembers where it came from. And the universe, seeing you softened, draws closer. Finally, the next way is surrender without defeat. Surrender with dignity, with power, with heart. You're not giving up, you're giving over, to timing, to truth. to a rhythm far older than your. Surrender says, I've done my part. Now I trust the unseen, and in that trust you become receptive, not passive, receptive, open to guidance, surprise, alignment. This is not collapse, this is communion. So lean in, follow the tug, listen closely, receive fully, let beauty break you open, and when it's time, surrender. Not because you lost, but because you've remembered. You were never doing this alone. This is the language of the universe. This is how it knows you're ready. The next way to talk to the universe is to become the environment for what you seek. Want peace? Cultivate stillness in your daily rhythm. Want love? Speak gently. Want magic? Wake up in awe. The universe responds not just to desire, but to readiness. And readiness is a vibration. Your environment is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, energetic. What thoughts do you entertain? What energies do you host? What futures do you secretly fear? If you want to receive something new, clear a space for it. Make it welcome. Become the version of you who lives in alignment with it already. The next way is poetry. Not necessarily the writing of it, but the seeing. The poetic eye. That capacity to find metaphor in madness, to turn pain into art, to let your wounds speak in verses instead of screams. The universe speaks in poetry, in the language beneath language. When you begin to notice life as art, messy, vibrant, non-linear, you also begin to trust that nothing is, that even the most tangled moments carry beauty, that even silence has a shape. This perception doesn't fix life, it translates it. And in the translation, you hear what the mind. Another way is gratitude before evidence, not as fantasy, but as frequency. Give thanks like it's already done. Speak your appreciation into the unseen. Gratitude is one of the clearest languages the universe understands. It says, I recognize the blessing even before it arrives. This isn't delusion, it's calibration. It's preparing your body and mind to receive. It's choosing trust over doubt. It's saying, I am ready to meet the good half. Gratitude is not a transaction, it's a transformation. And it changes you long before it changes your circumstances. The next way is embodied courage. Speak when your voice shakes. Leap while afraid. Set the boundary even when your hands tremble. The universe responds not to perfection, but to bravery, to movement in the direction of soul, even when it terrifies you. Courage sends a signal. It says, I value truth more than comfort. And the universe, always listening, echoes that back with clarity, support, alignment. Not because you had no fear, but because you moved anyway. Finally, the next way is devotion to your aliveness. Let yourself be touched. Let yourself be moved. Don't numb the highs or the lows. Don't edit your experience into something more palatable. Feel deeply, messily, fully. Aliveness is magnetic. It says to the universe, I'm here. I'm awake. I'm available for the full spectrum. And in that availability, more is given. Not always more ease, but more meaning, more connection, more resonance. So breathe into your desires, see the poetry, give thanks ahead of time, move with courage, and stay wildly, unapologetically alive. This is the conversation. This is the communion. This is how you let the universe know, I'm listening. I'm ready. Let's continue. The next way to talk to the universe is through sacred contrast. Notice what triggers you, not to spiral, but to listen. Every agitation reveals a boundary. Every envy reveals a buried desire. Every annoyance is a map to your own unmet need. Contrast is not punishment, it's precision. It shows you where you are not yet aligned, where you've silenced yourself, where your yes has turned into a reluctant maybe. When you meet contrast with curiosity instead of judgment, it becomes a compass instead of a cage. The next way is ancestral remembrance. You carry blood memory, lineage wisdom. prayers you didn't speak but still benefit from. Talking to the universe isn't always upward. It's also backward, inward, downward, rooting. Honor where you come from. Speak to your grandmothers, even if you never met them. Ask for their guidance. Burn the herbs they once held. Sing the songs they never got to finish. The universe listens when you remember that you are not a solo act. You are a symphony of survival, of love, of sacred continuity. Another way is to rewild your intuition. Stop asking your doubt for directions. Let your body lead. Let your senses wake up. Let instinct come home. Your intuition isn't broken. It's buried beneath layers of noise, conditioning, shoulds. To rewild it, you must get quiet enough to hear again. Get raw enough to feel again. Get brave enough to follow again. This is how you say to the universe, I trust your whispers more than the world's. The next way is conscious grieving. Let what's dying die. Let what's done be finished. Don't try to resuscitate what your soul has already left. Mourning is not weakness, it's clarity. It says, I see the ending and I honor. When you grieve with consciousness, you create space, not just for sadness, but for rebirth, for the next thing to emerge. You're telling the universe, I'm done pretending this fits. I'm ready for what's. Finally, the next way is choosing resonance over reason. Some paths won't make sense. Some choices will confuse. That's okay. Your soul doesn't speak in spreadsheets. It speaks in sensation, in chills, in knowing, in the magnetic pull that defies logic. Follow what resonates. Trust what glows. Choose what quickens your pulse. The universe doesn't need you to explain. It needs you to move. And when you do, when you follow the irrational yes, you find yourself exactly where you were always meant to be. This is how the language unfolds. This is how the frequency aligns. Through contrast, through lineage, through instinct, through grief, through the untamable pulse of resonance. You don't need to understand it all. You just need to keep listening. The next way to talk to the universe is through radical rest, not earned rest, not delayed rest, rest as a birthright, rest as a spiritual practice. When you rest without guilt, you signal trust in divine timing. You say, I don't have to hustle for what's mine. I receive by being, not just by doing. In deep rest, you become receptive. You drop resistance. You soften into stillness. That's when downloads come. That's when clarity emerges. The universe speaks when you finally stop running long enough to listen. The next way is sacred irreverence. Laugh in the face of fear. Mock the lies you were taught to worship. Play with the rules just to see what breaks open. The divine is not fragile. It can take your boldness. It loves your fire. Irreverence doesn't mean disrespect. It means refusing to bow to what doesn't resonate. It means choosing soul over script. It means reclaiming the voice you buried beneath politeness. When you speak from that place, the universe hears you clearly. Another way is reclamation of joy. Not circumstantial joy, sovereign joy. The kind that exists without permission, the kind that bubbles up despite. Joy is not a luxury. It's a signal, a sign that your soul is still intact, still listening, still alive. When you follow what lights you up, you follow the thread of alignment. Joy is guidance. Joy is divine confirmation. Let it move you. Let it lead. The next way is elemental connection. Go outside, bare feet, deep breath, skin to earth, talk to the wind, thank the fire, listen to water, lean against trees. The universe speaks most clearly through what it made. The body of nature is the body of the divine. Let the elements recalibrate you. Let them teach you. You are not separate from the forest, the ocean, the moon. You are a pulse within the whole. Remember that, and you'll never feel alone again. Finally, the next way is reverence for endings. Don't just grieve them, honor them. Close the door with presence. Mark the moment. Speak the gratitude. Endings are not failures. They are ceremonies. The universe cannot bring the new until you've released the old. So stop ghosting your transitions. Complete them. Bless them. Let them teach you what they came to teach. And then step forward, with clean hands, with a clear heart, with space for the next yes. This is how you talk to the universe, through presence, through play, through pause, through prayer, through the holy fire of your joy. Keep speaking, keep listening. You are heard. Always, the next way to talk to the universe is to live as a question, not an answer. Stay open. Stay curious. Let your life be inquiry, not conclusion. The moment you declare absolute certainty, you stop listening. The universe is ever changing, so let your stance be supple, your mind like water. Questions invite presence. They create movement. They pull revelation out of hiding. You don't have to know. You just have to wonder, sincerely, softly, daily. The universe bends to curiosity the way flowers bend to light. The next way is creative obedience. When you receive a nudge, follow it. When inspiration taps you, answer. Don't wait until it makes sense. Don't wait until it's perfect. Obey the muse. Obey the spark. Create what wants to be born through you. Your art is not just expression, it's conversation. It is how the unseen becomes seen, how the soul makes itself known. When you move with your inspiration instead of resisting it, the universe responds with more. More ideas, more magic, more. Another way is radical honesty with your prayers. Don't just say what you think sounds spiritual. Say what's true. Say what aches. Say what scares you. The rawer your request, the clearer the echo. You don't need to perform your spirituality. You need to live it in your actual words, your actual desires, your actual struggles. When your prayer is honest, the whole universe leans in. The next way is to embody paradox. You can be both certain and scared, grateful and grieving, expanding and contracting. Stop trying to clean yourself up before you engage the divine. You are already holy, even in your mess, especially in your mess. The universe doesn't ask for tidy, it asks for true. Let all of you speak. Let all of you listen. The contradiction is not a flaw, it's a frequency. It's how the light gets in. And finally, the next way is to love bigger. Bigger than your fear, bigger than your wound, bigger than your story. Love is not just affection, it's architecture. It builds bridges where there were none. It opens doors you didn't know were locked. When you choose love again and again, you tell the universe, I am available for miracles. Not because you're perfect, but because you are participating in the highest frequency available. So ask bold questions, obey wild inspirations, speak raw prayers, embrace your contradictions, and love like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. This is how you talk to the universe. And more importantly, this is how you let it talk back. You have asked, you have listened, you have danced the 33 steps across thresholds of wonder, courage, grief, devotion, and... But the truth is, it was never just about learning to talk to the universe. It was about remembering that you always were. Every breath you take is a sentence. Every feeling you let move through you is a prayer. Every moment of presence is a doorway. You are not waiting for connection. You are the connection. You are not seeking answers. You are becoming the space where answers arrive. There is no final technique, no ultimate ritual, no secret script. The universe speaks in 1,000 dialects, but it always answers honesty. It always echoes alignment. It always returns to the soul that dares to be fully alive. So leave this with reverence, but not with rigidity. Let this guide dissolve into your bones. Let it become a rhythm, not a rule book. Let yourself keep discovering ways number 34, 35, 108, because the conversation never ends. You are the question, you are the antenna, you are the... Speak often, listen deeper, and trust that every step you take, The universe is whispering, "Yes, I hear you. Keep going.